Hi there, my name is Denise. I'm crooked. Wait, that's better. I'm a stylist for Color Street, and thank you for watching. This is going to be another makeup video, and today I'm going to be using my favorite pink eyeshadow palette from ColourPop, and it's called Fine Feathered. It's not available anymore. I just went to their website, but these are more of like the deeper pinks. There's one called Cloud Spun that you can get now, and there's another one. If you hit the sort by alphabetically, A to Z, the other pink one, it's something with the word flirty in it. So if you go to just scroll down to the F's, you'll find the other pink palette. And I'm sure there's other ones, but what I love about this one, clearly you can tell this thing right in the middle. Oh my God, it's to die for. All right, let's do this. So everything I'm using, I will probably mention as we go along, but if I don't, it'll be in the description box thingy. And I am a stylist for Color Street Polish. Today I'm not doing a mani, but I'm gonna be using Color Street mascara because it's the best formula ever. I mean, it launched last summer in July of 23. Oh my God, everything was here. Damn it. Right in front of me, literally. But because it was upside down instead of this way, I don't see it. Is that a common affliction or is it just me? Sometimes I wonder. Anyhow, the mascara launched last summer at conference in July. And I tried it the first, chance I got once I bought my my little set of it, and man, it's just so good. What I love the most about the formula, as I've probably said a million times, is that there's no flaking ever. It's buttery smooth. It's easy to work with. You can build it. Even if you let it dry and you want to put more on, it's not going to be flaking all over the place. Like usually when you try to load up another coat with regular, ordinary, mortal mascaras, that's what I'll call them, because this stuff is just so good. I might even do that today. I'll just show you. I'll put my money where my mouth is. So yeah, that's my Color Street connection for now. And Marie asked me how long I've been in a long distance relationship, and in the comments, and I answered, I said it's been a minute, but it's actually been a lot of minutes. We met before the pandemic by a while, and he's technically not a free dude. He's still officially hitched, and I knew this shortly after we started talking on the phone. We met playing backgammon on the internet, okay? Talk about like random. But, at the place that we play at, you are chatting with your opponent in real time. So, it's hi, how are you, good luck, whatever. And then, we just started this conversation, and okay, I'm going to unpack the whole thing. This is a match made in geek heaven, okay? He's a software engineer, so he's a geek boy from the get-go, from the start. It's a lot of G's, geek boy, get-go. Anyway, he's definitely, a brainiac software engineer guy. But I didn't know this at first, but here's the thing. Since you're typing in real time, and I've been a backgammon player for a long time, even on the internet. So, hi, how you doing, where you from, whatever. And the first thing I notice about most people when we're typing back and forth, especially the men, they use a bold font and the letters are big and it's dark blue, dark green, black, and bold, And the women, it's always frilly and pretty most of the time, some of them not, but usually it's pink and purple. I use a darker purple for mine, and it's just the regular, I don't know. I don't even know the name of my font. But anyway, what I noticed about my guy is that his font was a nice, pleasant shade of green. It wasn't bold, it wasn't dark, it was just a nice medium-toned green. that was not that I'm ever threatened by a, by a font. You know what I'm getting at. It wasn't your typical dude font. Oh, shoot. I did it again. Just a moment. Hold, please, while I go get a wipey and partake of the beauty of the Fine Feather palette. Just a moment. I'll be right with you. Please hold. Okay. And these, by the way, are the cheapy little wipies that you get at Target. So, medium green font, not bold letters. And I type really fast. And usually as I'm typing my, whatever, hi, how are you, good luck, whatever, my sentences, sometimes I see the little 3 dots where you're typing and I'm expecting, a couple of sentences. And it's like 1 word, and it took like a minute and a half. It's like, what, are you typing with your toes over there, dude? So, what I noticed about my boyfriend pretty much immediately is that he was keeping up with me. So, first I went in with this one, is on now. Just this one is like a little base. And what I'm going to do today, I'm going to go with this darker one. Oh, and these have names. The first one was High Flying, and the one I'm going in with now is Goose Chase. The, I guess, darker of the 2 bright pinks. So we're typing, and I noticed that he's keeping up with me. And the next thing I noticed, again, geek heaven, okay? He's not only keeping up with me, but he's actually punctuating everything. YOU''RE. Everything is capitalized. And his spelling is perfect. No typos, no nothing. And I'm like, who is this guy? Where did he come from? And then, in a very classy, non-ick inducing way, he got a tiny bit flirty once in a while. And I'm like, who is this guy? This is like really fun, And he made me laugh a bunch of times, which, immediate sexiness. If somebody can make me laugh, that's just the thing. Anybody that can make me laugh, I like immediately. So this guy was cracking me up. And before I knew it, we'd been in there typing and playing and talking for like 4 hours, 4.5, 5 hours. And, he asked me for my number, and my knee-jerk immediate response to myself was, are you kidding me? Dude's in Florida. What are you going to do? But then I thought, well, this website has a block and ignore feature. So if you don't like someone or if they bother you, you hit block and then you hit ignore. And when you hit ignore, that means that you never see them ever, anywhere, unless you go looking for them. Like when you enter a room to go play the match, there's an index along one side, like over here, that has the name of everybody that's in the room. But you don't have to look there if you don't want to. So, unless you're going to go look to see if the guy's in the room, I'll never even know that he exists. So I thought, okay, well, what's the worst that can happen? He ends up being a creep. I block him on my phone. He doesn't know where I live, right? So whatever, that's cool. Okay, fine. So he calls me, and the first couple of minutes are like laughing at the fact that we were in there for 5 hours talking back and forth like crazy and having a good time. And so we just start talking, and like 10 or 15 minutes down, actually even before 10 or 15 minutes, like within a couple minutes, he says, I need to tell you something. And I'm like, okay, here it comes. And he said, I got to tell you, I'm really not much of a phone guy. I just really don't gravitate to the phone ever, but it was so much fun talking with you in there. And I didn't really want to, I didn't want to go yet, so, but I just wanted to let you know that. And I thought, that's actually pretty classy, because if I don't like him and I want to hang up, he's not going to be bothered. And if he tells me that he wants to go, I can't be bothered because he already told me he's not a phone guy. So I'm thinking, okay, classy, that's cool. 20 minutes later, he's like, okay, I got to tell you, I'm really enjoying this conversation. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, and, so it's like, well, thank you. I like talking to you too. You're easy to talk to. He says, yeah, so are you. So, anyway, where did you go to school? And so we kept the conversation going, and another half hour goes by, and he's like, okay, I don't think I've talked to my mom this long. I can't explain this at all, but, this is really a fun conversation. And I'm thinking, So another hour goes by. It's now like 2 hours that we've been talking on the phone. And he's like, okay, who are you? Who am I? I don't even know who I am anymore, because I've never talked on the phone like this ever, for this long, ever, ever, ever. So I'm like kind of spun here. And I'm thinking, okay, that's nice to know. That's cool. And so we hung up, and it was 2 hours and 22 minutes. And you know how like you hang up and you look at the little thing and it says how long you've been talking. So I noticed it was 2 hours and 22 minutes. And like 2 seconds later, I get a text from him that's the 2:22 OMG. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I have no idea what's happening here, but that's fun. We're fine. It's good. And so right before we hung up, he said, what are you doing tomorrow? I said, I'm not sure. What are you doing? And he says, well, I'm going to go to work, but after that, I'm calling you as soon as you tell me that you're home. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, we can do this. And at this time in my life, I was living with my ex. I know. It's very complicated, extremely complicated. And, we had broken up several years prior, and we're still in the apartment. I think I may have mentioned this part another time because, who can afford first and last month's rent plus, security deposit, and somebody's got to buy a couch. Okay, mascara time, Color Street Triflex. This tube is actually getting a little bit old, but it's still really workable. I should have kept track of when I opened this tube. I forgot to do that. But anyhow, so I'm at this time living with my ex, and we were still living in this apartment that I'm in now, which is a 1-bedroom. But my ex was a night owl. I was working early days, and we were actually only sleeping on the same soft mattressy thing for a couple hours each night. And trust me when I tell you, nothing was happening before we broke up, and definitely nothing was happening after, okay? No, absolutely not. But we were besties. We had a really good rapport, even though we weren't a couple anymore. And I can't tell you how many times that we would still crack each other up. He would do the silliest things, just like he did when we were still together. So none of that changed. And one time we were sitting on the couch, and you know how like, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. That little 8-year-old BS. We would do that back and forth all the time. It was so funny. So, that would still happen, and we'd still, make it work because we had to. I mean, who wants to come home to tension and rancor and all of that bad stuff? So we just figured, we can just be roomies. We'll be fine because we got along as humans. And so when I met my current boyfriend, I'm thinking to myself, okay, one of these times he's going to call and David's going to answer the phone, and then I'll have to explain. Okay, I got to tell him. Crap, how am I going to tell him? So I kind of sat on that for a little while, a couple of months. I mean, at the end of the day, we're not like committed, so I really don't owe him any explanations. But, you start talking with somebody every single night for a couple hours, and you develop a sense of who they are, and you start to like someone and whatever, and it's like, well, you know what, I gotta be honest. I gotta tell him. Crap, how am I gonna? All right, I'm just gonna tell him. I'm gonna tell him. It'll tonight. Okay, it'll be tonight. The phone's gonna ring. I'm gonna say, hey, how are you? I got something to tell you. Boom, I'm gonna tell him. So that's pretty much what happened. The phone rang. And I said, hey, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? I'm okay, but I got something I got to tell you. Uh-oh. Well, I got something I got to tell you, too. Okay, you first, he says. And I'm like, okay. there's no there's no easy way to say this. And he says, just say it, I'm dying over here. And I said, okay, I live with my ex. And I hear this, okay, I did another dip in here, like I don't normally, but right now I'm doing it. And he made this noise that could have meant one of 80 different things. And I'm like, what? What is that noise? And he says, all right, are you ready? I says, what? He says, I'm living with my ex too. And I said, shut up, you are not. So all of that worry for nothing. So in that moment, it's like, okay, well, we're bonding over a totally different thing now, you know? And from that night forward, it was like, every night we get on the phone and it's like, well, how are you? You're not going to believe what happened today. Well, yeah, well, you're not going to believe what she said to me, you know? So we kind of bonded over the whole cohabitating with your exes thing. And once that came out, it was almost like we sort of turned a corner and started talking about more, you know, not just, hi, how are you type stuff. We really got into like the deeper stuff about like how you live your life. And you know, over the course of several months, I started to think, okay, well, crap, I really like this guy. What the hell am I going to do now? He's in Florida. I'm here. I'm not moving anytime soon unless he's going to, you know, move me there and pay for it because I'm, you know, in the situation I'm in. And so, and this was like June, July of that year that we first started talking. So now it's like October, November. And I'm thinking to myself, well, something's got to happen because I'm not going to keep doing this and like starting to become like emotionally attached to someone that's still married, even though I'm technically with mine too, with my ex. But I didn't want to I'm thinking, okay, I can't do this. We got to figure something out here. So we had the talk where we both said, okay, I like you. I like you too. Well, what do you want to do? It's like, well, okay, it's now October. Ooh, I'm out of this. Am I out? I'm almost out. Oh, I got enough for today. So he's like, well, it's early October right now. Let's just put it on the shelf because neither of us is traveling between now and the new year. You know, it's like almost Halloween, and it's like, okay, well, we'll figure something out next year. Oh, earring check. Snowflakes. It's the winter holiday theme. So that's what I have today, but I'm taking them off now because I don't want to get any foundation on them. So, you know, it's like October. So we figured, okay, we're going to just keep talking because he admitted that he's kind of like likes me too. And it's like, okay, well, we'll just, you know, keep talking and whatever. And so we got through the holidays and okay, he sent me a card. This is the first year that we were like, I can't really say the word together because we hadn't met yet, but he actually sent me a Christmas card with like money in it. Holy shit, he gave me like a lot of money. For me anyway, like it was like $300 in there, and I opened it up and I started to cry, and and David's like, what happened? And I said, look at this. And he's like, wow, that's really nice. And I'm like, yeah, that's unexpected and completely, totally, unbelievably unexpected. But I thought, well, okay, this is how he treats the people he cares about, you know. And I called him that night and I said, I can't believe you did that. Thank you. That was so nice. That's like completely unexpected. And I started to cry. And that's when the For Crying Out Loud thing came out, the Meatloaf song. It's like, because you cry, I love you, even though we hadn't said the L word, which, by the way, we made a deal early on that no matter how we feel or what we think, you can't really love someone if you haven't really met them yet, you know, because if you start to say the L word before you haven't even met, I mean, no, I'm not doing that. I refuse. I won't. And we agreed. I mean, we're not teenagers. This is not like some immature pen pal, you know, online thing. We're not doing that. And so, yeah. Anyhow, he sent me that for the first time we were, you know, Christmas that we were together. And so like January came around and we started to try and like hatch a plan to get together. And, you know, their MO, by the way, on his side was they actually, both of them went to see their respective divorce attorneys when their marriage fell apart, which, by the way, was several years before I met him. I'm just putting a little powder on now. So they went to see divorce attorneys because they had to figure out what was going to happen with their kids. They had 2 children at that time that were in like grade school, middle school. And as soon as things started to go south, they both went to divorce attorneys. And between the 2 of them, they said, okay, well, you know, moving out and finding another house and doing the 50-50 shuffle. Neither of them wanted to do that because that's hard on everybody. Plus, you got to have 2 mortgages. From a financial standpoint, it's not practical. It's stupid. So we're not doing that. So one could take full custody, but again, 2 households. And then that would mean that mom would have to come visit her kids, or the dad would have to go visit his kids. And they didn't want to put the kids through that or themselves as humans through that, which kind of tells me a lot about who they are. That, you know, even though they didn't want to be married anymore, they cared enough about each other as humans that it's like, you know what, it would crush her to have to go visit her kids. Or that would suck for him to have to come visit the kids. So they didn't want to do that either. Besides which, the kids, you know, they were a good family. You know, they just hated, I don't want to say hated, they just didn't want to be married anymore. I'll tell you what he told me. I can't verify this because I've never met or talked to her. But, and you know, knowing him like I do, I kind of believe that this is entirely possible. And I've heard this said from a lot of other couples. Basically, after she popped out her second kid, he said that she pretty much crossed her ankles and said, well, that's that. And there had been like very little intimacy. And I don't know about you, but I'm not going to live in a sexless marriage. No. And that's kind of the same thing that happened, only it was the other side. It wasn't me that was the... Yeah, I'm the horn dog over here. Too much info, I'm sorry. So, you know, that's pretty much how it happened over on his side. And, you know, he's basically a cuddle monkey. He loves the whole touchy-feely thing, holding of the hands and, you know, sitting on the couch. It's like, even if it's just like hands, just pinkies, he can't get enough of all of that stuff. That gooey, you know, sweet, lovey-dovey crap. It's not crap. It's really the glue that holds everything together, which is kind of why it's gooey. But anyway, that's just who he is, and that's kind of who I am, and it's partly why we got along so well once we actually met, because we were both the same. And so, anywho, where was I? Oh, so they told the kids, since they weren't going to move out, and since they weren't going to get another house or anything else, they basically told the kids that daddy's going to move into the guest room because daddy snores and mommy can't get any sleep. But we're still a family. We're still a unit. Everything is fine. We're not going anywhere. We're all still here. We love you. We love each other. And, you know, as humans, we love each other, and it's going to be fine. You know, there's nothing changing. Nothing's going, you know, so they reassured the kids that everything's cool, with just dad's going to sleep downstairs. And I love this really super pale pink right here in the middle. It just adds another layer. So anyway, that's what they told their kids. And, you know, between the 2 of them, they said, okay, well, we're in this for the long game. We're going to stay in this house, raise our kids in the intact home that we promised them when we had them, and the commitment that we made. And, you know, we're doing that until they move out, no matter what. So that was the beginning. Oh, this is Buttergloss Tiramisu. I don't want to do a bright pink lip because I've got all of the pink on the eyes. I want the lips to be the supporting cast member. So, anyhow, all right, this is going to be part 1 because I've got a lot more to tell and I need to leave. I need to go to work. So makeup is done. I have to remember where I'm stopping this. I'm stopping this at Dad snores, and they moved down to the guest room. He moved down to the guest room. All right, I'll remember that. And packing everything up. Am I the only wackadoo that brings everything you're wearing? If I'm wearing it, I'm bringing it. I don't know if that's weird or not. But hey, you never know if you might need a touch up. I mean, especially me, because I'm an emotional little, I don't know. Sometimes I'll just be driving and a song will come on the radio and I'm like, and like it's like, okay, I gotta fix that. So I don't know. Am I the only one? I can't be the only one. But anyhow, so that's my, that's the beginning of my story, and I'm sticking to it. I just gotta do a tiny bit right here. All right, that's better. All right, lovies, have a happy day, and I promise, I'm gonna finish this tomorrow. I'm not gonna leave you hanging for a week, because I know you're dying to know, right? Of course you're not. All right, here I go. Have a happy day, and I will see you in the morning. Bye.